So, welcome back to Pon's Tinkering Garage, and today we are introducing a brand new series, and it's gonna be called Clothes in Action, right? So, uh, as its name suggests, it's basically me talking about clothing, right? So, however, it's gonna be slightly different from the previous, my original series, A Tailor's Approach to Cloth Sewing in Blender, because in that series we talked about how to make shirt, how to make trousers, and lastly we talked about how to make outside, right? And they are great. However, well, of course, right now it's getting a little bit longer because my AT-AT SCS is like 18 videos long, so I think it's going to be a good idea to kind of separate it into a brand new series, right? And however, the clothes in action is going to be a little bit slightly different than this one because the original Taylor's approach to cloth sewing is more like a course teaching people how to use cloth simulation to make actual clothing, right? So meanwhile, in this series, the clothes in action, we're gonna make clothes. Of course, we're gonna make clothes, but we're also gonna make it look a little bit more dynamic, right? So we're gonna put it into dynamic poses and all that, so that the clothes itself, although that it's not functionally better, but it's just in the end, it's gonna look a little bit better, or at least a little bit more interesting and appealing for presentational purposes, right? So yeah, that is a little bit of introductions of the series, right? So yeah, let's go to Blender, right? So here it is, and this is the model. So this is a brand new model, a brand new series, and a brand new model for a brand new series. This one is called Jade, and she is she's a 3D model, and we're gonna use this 3D model to make our very first piece of clothing in this series, and it's gonna be a circle skirt, right? So we've talked about how to make trousers before, right? So, and it's great. However, well, for female clothing, skirt is gonna be like the next most common piece of clothing, right? So yeah, I think it's a good idea to make that in our very first episode for our series. So yeah, you're gonna talk about circle skirt, and there's a lot of types of skirt, as you might probably know. There's a plate skirt and all that. Right now, we're gonna talk about circle skirt, and the reason being because circle skirt is gonna be your easiest skirt to make because it's the simplest, the fastest, and there's not many measurements to do, and so it's gonna be easy and quite fast. So yeah, so let's get it started. So let's first let's turn it into the shade mode, and let's turn on our wireframe and also turn on our statistics, and probably it's a good idea for me to turn on my shortcut, this thing, and yeah, let's make that circle skirt. So first, just like what I previously did, maybe I'm gonna make a new one, and it's called a new collection. It's gonna be called measurement, and let's put in just like what I already did previously, a circle, and then practically a stick. So yeah, let's make it only face. Let's delete the 3 edges remaining. We're leaving 1 edge, and then set origin to geometry, and then we can go back to 0, right? So that's the circle, and that's the plane, and so yeah. So the first measurement that you're gonna have to take is the waist measurement, and let's just call it waist measurement, right? So is it measurement? Okay, good. Now let's pull it up just around the belly button. Probably we can also scale it, right? And also we can make it a little bit more center to the torso, right? So yeah, and just like what I previously mentioned on the outside, on the trousers episode in the 8080 CS, of course we talked about how to angle the waist measurement so that it better represents the waist curve. If you haven't checked that out, please check that out. So this is gonna be, so let's see, we're gonna link, I'm gonna put the link to this video right in here, right? The trousers episode. So please check this out. I'm gonna put the link in the screen somewhere or on the description box later. So yeah, the first thing that you have to do is to angle this, right? So if you see that the model itself, it has an angle, right? So let me take out my my Wacom, right? So let's create an annotation, right? So this is the belly button, right? So you can see that the edge, the loop from the model itself, it creates this kind of edge. It's a kind of a angled line, and then before they go straight down to the back, right? So this is the natural curve of our waist. So yeah, that's our the quickest explanation for the curve. So right now we can actually angle this thing. Something like 30 is a good number, and then we're gonna pull it up to the top so that it kind of matches with our annotation, and we're gonna use the good old shrink wrap, put the object, and then project, negative checked in, and also we're gonna put the offset a little bit into like 5 millimeters, right? So yeah, that sounds like a good thing. Let's put it a little bit down, and that's cool. And yeah, as you can see that we have to bend the back part of the circle, because right now it's just goes straight to the top like that. That's not how it looks, how it's supposed to look. And we're gonna, first of all, we're gonna freeze. We're gonna apply this shrink wrap modifier, and then we're gonna rotate it in somewhere around here. As you can see that this is the middle point. Maybe this is the edge that we should be rotating. I think first we're gonna have to use cursor and snap it there, and we can, right now we can go to 3D cursor and then go select all the edges, and then we can rotate it back maybe another 15, how many, 30, yeah, 30 degrees straight to the back, so that now it goes, so it goes curve and then straight to the back. So this way is good, but now we're gonna have to use our shrink wrap again and project negative 5 millimeters, and yeah, voila, now we can reapply that, and that is our waist measurement. And the next measurement and the last measurement for this circle skirt is gonna be the length of the skirt, right? So for that we're gonna use our plane, right? So we're gonna duplicate that and we're gonna call it skirt length, right? So we're gonna put this edge, we're gonna click that vertex, and we're gonna use the cursor there, and because we're gonna set the origin to this part, right? So we're gonna move it to the top, right, somewhere around here, and then we're gonna delete the vertices. We're gonna just extrude it from that point. So yeah, that's gonna be our length. So how long, of course, this is something that you should decide next, how long the skirt is gonna be, right? However, for this demonstration, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it too long, and I'm not gonna make it too short, right? So I'm aiming for somewhere in the middle, right? So it's gonna be, you know, knee-high skirt. It's a little bit modest, knee-high skirt. So yeah, first I think we're gonna pull this up to the front first, right? Somewhere like that, right? So, and yeah, it's already somewhere in the middle of the knee, and it's good. And yeah, maybe I'm just gonna have to pull this down a little, because so that sorry, so that, wait a minute, that's, I'm correct, the other way around. So yeah, so just make sure that this thing and that thing matches, it touches each other, something like that. And yeah, that's looking good. And let's bring back our model and maybe a little bit down there, so it's right in the middle of the knee. So yeah, that's it. That's our skirt length. So yeah, I guess that's all about it that we need. That's the only two measurements that you need to make the circle skirt. So first, of course, that we're gonna have to use our good old measure it tools, right? So if you don't have it, you just have to activate it from this add-on thing, measure it. It's already there, you just have to activate it. And yeah, now we can just now we can use, just pick a letter and use segment. We're gonna use centimeter, and let's see, so it's 69. So let's use our notepad and our desk pin to pin it out. So waist measurement is gonna be 69 centimeter, and the length is gonna be 63, right? So skirt length is gonna be 63 centimeters, right? So yeah, that's it. However, the waist measurement, it's gonna be divided by 4, right? So you cannot do that with 69, right? So however, you can do it with either 68 or 72, right? So of course, this is something that you have to choose. I think, because if you go to 72, you're adding extra 3 centimeters, right? So meanwhile, if you go to 68, you're gonna remove just 1 centimeter. So I think it's gonna go 68. And for the skirt length, it doesn't really matter, right? So yeah, so because it's 60.4, you can just write it up to 63, and it's gonna be okay. So yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it from our measurement part. So the next thing, first I'm gonna hide our annotation, right? So let's hide it first, and then we're gonna start making our fabric, right? So the first part of fabric that I'm gonna make is the waistband, right? So just like what we did with the trousers early on. So first, let's create our fabric. So let's go mesh and plain. Okay, that's cool. However, for this one, let's just call it fabric, right? And we're gonna divide it. We're gonna make it 1 meter by 1 meter first, right? So, and then we're gonna freeze the scale, and then we're gonna subdivide it by 99 times. So you will get 100 faces vertically and horizontally, right? So it makes 100 centimeters. So there's one little box here represents 1 centimeter. So that's it. And then this is our stock fabric. So we just have to duplicate it, and we're gonna call it right now, call it waistband, right? So maybe something like that, right? Waistband. Okay, now I think I kind of forget. First I have to, maybe no, yeah, we can just delete it here, delete a half of it, and then we can apply our mirror modifier. And yeah, so however, for the waistband, you're not gonna need the bottom half, so you can just delete it. You're just gonna need this thing, right? So for our waist measurement is 68, and for the waistband, you're not gonna divide it by 4, you're gonna divide it by 2, because it's a circle around from the top to the back. So sorry, from the front to the back. And yeah, it's gonna be 68 divided by 2. You will get something like 34 centimeters, right? And yeah, just have to measure 34, and yeah, there is it, 34. And you can delete all the rest here. And for the thickness, for the width of the waistband, you cannot go wrong with 3 centimeters, right? Even if you want something a little bit thicker, you can go 4 centimeters. However, the standard is kind of 3 centimeters. So we can just delete all the rest, right? So like that. And now we've got our waistband. So we're going to duplicate it, right? So first we're going to duplicate it. And okay, now we can rotate it 90 degrees so that it's pointing up. Before we put it to the top, right? So let's bring back our measurement, and we're gonna put it just above our measurement, right? So something like that. Pull it out a little bit, and yeah, now is good. And then now there will come a time when we have to kind of shape the waistband just like what we normally do. And yeah, let's do it. So we're gonna use our 3D cursor to help us do that a little bit quicker, right? So yeah, so let's snap it. Let's turn on the snapping, and we can rotate it along the Z little by little, right? Something like that. Deselect, rotate it again. Okay, now this is our waistband shape, and of course you will see that it's not it doesn't touch the other one another, and that's okay. That's what I basically explained previously. So right now we just have to duplicate it and reapply our mirror modifier, right? So we can maybe before that we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna cut this, something like that. Oh, sorry, this is in the middle part, and cut that. And we also gonna cut this part, right? So something like that. And we can apply the mirror modifier. Oh, sorry, we're gonna have to delete this first, right? So faces, and also this one, right? So yeah, we're gonna apply that, and we can join this with that. Okay, something like that, and also this one to that. So you don't have to go right to the bottom. You can just use these two faces for the back part, and only face. Okay, now it's done. You can now go to cloth. We're gonna, for the waistband, we're gonna use something thicker like denim. I'm gonna put my magic number 0.4. The shape is gonna be, turn on the sewing, go to 5 maximum force, and the collision we're gonna use 5mm, and the self collision is gonna be 2.5mm, right? So yeah, that's it. Now let's turn the simulation up, and yeah, that is our waistband. So let's wait until 50, and yeah, that is our waistband. So yeah, that's cool, right? So now we can just save our cloth as a shape key and go something like that, right? Yeah, that's cool. Now next thing that we're gonna make is the circle skirt itself. So yeah, let's do it. So let's hide the model, and let's hide the waist, and let's reuse our fabric, right? So this is our fabric. We're gonna duplicate it, and we're gonna call it something like skirt, I think, and yeah, that's it. So the first thing that you're gonna do is to measure. Of course, that we already know that the circumference of the waist is 68, right? However, what we don't know is that how much radius that we're gonna take out from that, because the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a hole around, a circular hole on this plain fabric, and that hole should have the circumference of 72. And to do that, we're gonna have to use a calculator, right? So it's kind of easy. You can just Google it actually and search for something like yeah, circle calculator, right? And yeah, something like that, something like this, and yeah. Now, as you can see that you have this input thing, right? So we know that the circumference of our waist is 68, right? So right there, you can see that you can change this to centimeter, and you will see that the radius and then the diameter that we're gonna need for our circle thing, right? So we're gonna use this. Let's just use that. Waist radius is 27.5. So that's is interesting number. So it's gonna make 27, I think, right? So yeah, so that is 27. Or let's see, is it better 27 or 28? Maybe 27, right? Okay, now we go to 27, and right now let's use our measurement again, and let's use our circle, right? So we can just call it waist radius, something like that, and we're gonna make it the dimension of it is gonna be sorry, this one, waist radius, waist diameter is 54 centimeters, and yeah, so you're gonna use this to the dimension 54 centimeter, right? And yeah, so let's see. I'm wondering if I did the correct measurement. It's 27. Yes, that is 27. So yeah, the circumference is 68 inch. Centimeter. Yeah, sorry, it's it's in inch, so you're gonna have to re-input it to 68, right? So you got 10.8 and 21. So we're gonna put it into 11 and 22. So 11 centimeters and 22, right? So yes, you should check about the inch and centimeter thing, right? So before you make the mistake like I did. So let's put 22 centimeters, and that is the correct number. So this one to that one is 11, right? So yeah, so yes, first you can just go to edit and select our waist radius, and then mesh, knife project, and voila, you get this clean cut of a hole. You can just delete faces, and now you've got this hole right in the fabric. So yeah, that is the first thing, right? So the next thing that we're gonna do is to use our skirt length. So as you know that our skirt length is 63 centimeters, right? So 63 centimeters is gonna be that one to that one, right? However, as you see that we are running out of faces there, right? So we have to kind of extrude the extra thing again. However, I think we're gonna have to cut it in half first, and then to be honest, actually you don't really need because the top and the bottom part is gonna be the same. You can use double mirror for this one actually. So yeah, and so we can cut this part, right? So we got this nice quarter of the fabric, right? So, and we can use some, first we're gonna mirror it to the Y first, or actually we can use both, something like that. And yeah, that is much easier to do. So yeah, so let's do it now. We're gonna have to extrude stuff, right? So this one is 39, so we need 63. So we are out of 24 faces. 24 faces, right? So we're gonna extrude that 24 centimeters, and we're gonna cut it 23, right? So right now, if you check from that part to that part, it's gonna be 63. And yeah, we're gonna do the same with this one, right? So go to the X, and let's add 24 centimeters, and let's put a loop there and add 23 loops, and voila. Now you can measure this thing just to make sure it's 63, and it is 63. And yeah, that's it. Now the next thing that you're gonna do is to cut another circle around that the outer edge here. So we can reuse our waist radius, and we can duplicate it, and it's called outer radius, right? So this one is, oh, maybe not outer radius, let's just call it skirt outer radius, and it's gonna be 63 centimeters, right? So sorry, it's gonna be 60, how many is that? We have used this thing, right? So this is 63, right? However, we're gonna wait a minute. This one is 63. So how much is that? I think it's 148. Is it 148? Oh, it's 63. Sorry, 63 is the radius of it. So you're gonna have to add, you have to double that, and you will get 63, right? We got double that, and you will get 126, and you're gonna add that with the 22 and diameter for that, and you're gonna get 148 centimeters. That is the correct number. And yeah, now we're gonna have to cut this all with this, right? So let's mesh knife project, and you get this nice clean cut you're gonna have this kind of weird. I think before that, I think for this the circle here, we are running out of. As you can see that we are running out of, like, because it's kind of a jagged line, because we are running out of vertices for this. So I think maybe we subdivide this? We could, but it's gonna be bad anyway. So maybe we can just maybe we can create a brand new circle for this. Right, so the circle, let's add 64 vertices so that it's a little bit smoother. And is it smooth enough? It is smooth enough, and we're gonna put that 148 centimeters. Yes, let's delete this one, right? So just copy the name so we don't have to write it again, something like that. So right now, yes, you can see that it's a little bit a smoother line than the previous. So now let's cut this with that mesh knife project, and voila. Now we just to select this unselected thing, and then we can just Control I to invert, and then use delete the face, right? So that's kind of easy. So yeah, now you got this kind of disc shape thing. Right now, the next thing that we're gonna do is to clean up this thing, right? So remember that we cut this, right? However, as you can see that the edges is 28. Meanwhile, what we need is, so this is a quarter of a circle, so it's gonna be 68 divided by 4. So we need 17 edges from this side. So meanwhile, we still have 28, which is gonna be too much, right? So yeah, let's delete some vertices. Okay, that's it. No, that's not. Okay, now let's see how much we've got. So right now we got 21, so we have to remove another 4 another 4 vertices. So that's gonna be the first 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, 3, 4. Right. So if you check this one, it's already 17, which is the correct number that we are aiming for. Right. So, and yeah, this is what we got so far. Right. So yeah, I think that's it, right? So the next thing that we're gonna do is actually to duplicate it so that we have a safe template. And right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to separate the left and the right side of it, right? So first of all, we're gonna have to do something like this first, right? So let's apply it, and then we're gonna use a mirror again, and then we're gonna something like this probably, right? Yeah, something like that. So we're gonna separate this. You just give it something like 1 centimeter actually, and that's gonna be enough. Probably not. So we're gonna have to check our model first, right? So the reason why we have to separate the left and the right is because as you can see, we're gonna have to put this up first, and let's put it our measurement, our waist measurement, right? So that one is here. Let's just make it a little bit faster, something like that. As you can see that this thing hasn't been, so you have to move this a little bit more to the right so that it doesn't touch the actual model, right? So we're gonna add something like another 10, something like that. Maybe too much. Yeah, 2 centimeters, something like that, probably. Yeah, that is that's good actually. Probably we're gonna move it a little bit back to the back, just to make it a little bit more centered. More centered. And yeah, that's it. However, the next thing that we have to deal with is the hand situation, right? So maybe we have to move it to the bottom, right? So yeah, maybe that one. So now we have to move this one a little bit large, more to the right. So let's put it 4 centimeter, and then we bring that a little bit to the back again. So it all depends with the hand though. So you cannot really put it right on the hand. So it's gonna be piercing through the hand, and it's gonna be bad for simulation. And yeah. So I think that's good. And let's bring our waistband. Sorry, this one. I think this one. Okay, that one. Right. So let me see. Maybe we can actually pull this. So let's see, right? So the thing is, let's just give it a try first, right? So I thought that we can do this instead, right? So I think it's okay, something like that, right? So we rotate it 10 degrees so that it doesn't pierce through the skin. And yeah, now it's better. It's a little bit closer to the waistband, so that you don't spend too much time on simulating that distance, and that's always a plus. So, but I think before that, I think we're gonna have to put it back to its origin. So we're gonna take away that 4 centimeters that we have just given that, and we're gonna pull this a little bit to the back, and 1 centimeter probably. And let's see, let's make it a little bit cleaner, something like that. And then we can go to cursor, and then we can just rotate it right now, something like 10 degrees, and it's gonna be good. So yeah, that's it. That's the setup, and yeah. So now let's simulate this. So first of all, of course, we're gonna have to duplicate it again, because right now we have to join this with the waistband. The waistband doesn't have the mirror modifier. So first of all, we have to apply this, and then we can first, let's check our face orientation. I think this one is flip. It's gonna be normal, flip, and yeah, that's cool. So now let's join this with that. But first, again, these two, we have to duplicate it before we join this with that one. So object, join, or you can do it with a shortcut, Control J, right? Something like that, and voila. Now, first of all, you have to make the waistband as the pin, right? So let's add a group, right? So this one, let's call it pin, right? So let's go to our physics properties, and let's where is it? I have it, isn't it? So let's add what the, why is it that maybe I did some mistakes on that. Why can I add a vertex group? What happened? This is odd. I have to turn off the search thing, and let's call it a pin. Yeah, that's okay. We're just gonna have to rejoin this with that again. That's okay. Control J, and yeah, now we can safely join this with that, right? So you can just do that for the rest, and voila. Do it for the other way around, and voila. Now let's remove this only face, and yeah, let's go to physics properties and then as the pin group, and yeah, that's it. Now we can actually start the simulation, right? So let's hit play. Oh, sorry, you have to turn on the cloth. Hit play, and yeah. Oh, sorry. I think we also have to kind of join this part and the left and the right part. We can do it easily with bridge edge loop and only face. You can do it for the back as well, right? And bridge, only face, and yeah, that's it. Now we can safely start the simulation. However, I think we have to increase the sewing force, because as you can see that it's stretching right now. So let's add it to 10, and let's re-simulate thing again. Okay, now that's good, right? So there's a little bit of crumpling there. That's okay. Uh, yeah, now that looks great. Now we can just go to cloth, save as shape key, and turn it off, and then do that, and voila. Now this is the thing, right? So it's beautiful, right? So let's turn on. Sorry, let's turn on that, and yeah, how cool is that? However, first let's put a shader to it first, right? So let's save it and let's reopen our fabric shader. So open, I think it's on the template, it's in the cloth fabric thing, right? So this is the thing. We can just copy that and then put it here. Let's start a new collection, and it's called template, I think. Now that is our fabric, right? So you got this cloth fabric thing, and you can use that here. So yeah, so first let's put it back to the original shape, and then we can first do the UV unwrapping thing, right? So there we go. So you got the left part, that one, and so maybe do this first. So got that, the left one, and then you got the right one. So let's see, I think it's flipped. So yeah, I think this one needs to be flipped, right? So let's see, do the cursor, maybe let's pull our cursor back to 0. First let's move this to the offset and move that to the cursor too, and then we rotate it along the 3D cursor 180 degrees before we pull that around the axis and make it so something like that, right? So that's our skirt. So yeah, Now this is the waistband. Now we can just safely put this into 5.5, something like that. And yeah, this is really big, and that's okay. Now let's deal with the waistband. You can just put this, sorry, to that, and then where's the front? That is the back, and that is the front. No, this is the front, right? So maybe this one rotated 90 degrees, so that it's more like that. And then this one, I'm gonna rotate it. So which is the front? That one. So we're gonna rotate it this way, and we're gonna pull it something like that, right? So yeah, so let's pull it to 0.5, and then we pull this to the top, right? So something like that, right? So yeah, however, we're gonna have to scale it, because now it's overlapping. What happened if I move this to the bottom first, right? If does it still touch? No, it's not. So yeah, we don't have to scale it. So that is our UV, a simple UV. And then we go to shading, and okay, now let's add our fabric to it, and voila. However, for this one, I think I'm gonna use a brand new image texture. I'm gonna use something like tartan texture, right? So we're gonna open, and we're gonna go to image pattern, a cloth pattern, blue tartan, and let's switch this to something like this, right? So this is the tartan shape, and that looks great. And yeah, now let's go back here, and let's turn on our shape key, and then let's go to shade mode, and voila, now you've got a good brand new skirt. Yeah, that is our skirt. A very good, a very chic skirt. Now for the next part, we're gonna talk about the part where we're gonna make it a little bit more dynamic, right? So right now, as you can see, it's on the static, T-pose or A-pose, right? Just like what my videos, just like all the clothing that are featured in my videos, they are in this kind of static T-pose or A-pose, right? So that is great. However, for presentational purposes, it's not as interesting or appealing to see, right? So the next thing that we're gonna do is to make it so, and by introducing poses to our mannequin or 3D model here, so that our skirt or silver skirt right here can be shaped according to along with the body. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. So see you right there.